Lucy cackled in Victor's face. I guess Lord Husband doesn't know about the Inquisition. How long have you been a vampire, Victor? Don't tell me you're a newborn. Karen laughed derisively.
I didn't expect the Princess of Clan Snow to have a plebeian husband. Hell must have frozen over.
Victor shot to his feet, boiling with rage. He tried to calm himself. Use your mind, Victor, not your fists. He took a shaky, deep breath. I'm surprised to hear two seasoned vampires like yourselves lob such petty insults. Isn't that beneath you? Lucy and Karen glared. Violet watched intently but didn't intervene. Victor sneered. Must be problems at home, huh? What's the matter, Karen? Lucy not getting it up like he used to? Lucy gritted his teeth in anger as Karen blushed. Victor had struck a nerve. Violet chuckled, pleased with her husband's retort. Lucy lost his composure. Do you want to die, boy? Victor wagged a chiding finger. Temper, temper. You must be getting senile, losing your cool like this with a newborn like me. He turned to face Karen. You're so brave to stick with him through his mental decline. Lucy and Karen stepped forward, ready to brawl, when Violet suddenly stomped her foot and interrupted the tension. Enough! Have you forgotten where you are? The air was suddenly heavy with killing intent. Small beads of sweat began to appear on Lucy's face. His rage faded into a nervous smile. I'm sorry about that slip, Lady Violet. The killing intent disappeared as if it never existed, but the tense atmosphere still lingered in the air. Victor watched the vampire guests carefully. Something tells me that if Lucy makes a move, he won't be alive for long. When he was satisfied the threat of violence was gone, he turned to face Violet. Now, can you tell me what the Inquisition is? Violet nodded. The Inquisition is an organization formed by the Vatican Church. They train humans to hunt down the vampires that are causing trouble in the human world. They use blessed holy water weapons and chant Bible verses to cause permanent damage to vampire minds. Oh, so they're vampire hunters. Exactly. Victor leaned over to Violet and whispered in her ear. When I was testing my abilities, I touched a cross and felt no effect. Does that mean I'm immune? Violet shook her head. No, you are not immune. What you have in your room is just a normal item. The items used by the Church are blessed by the Pope himself, the closest figure to God humans have in this world. Lucy cleared his throat. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to know where you stand on my request, Lady Violet. Violet's eyes narrowed. The answer is no. Even if the Inquisition is coming, this is still my territory. My family and I can handle it. Victor grimaced. As much as he disdained Lucy, he realized the vampire may have a point. Honey, maybe you should give our friend permission. It might be wise. Violet was shocked. Victor stared into her eyes. She reluctantly nodded. You're lucky, Lucy. My husband has come to aid. Lucy stifled his resentment. Thank you, Lord Victor. Victor nodded. Tell me, Lucy, how many vampires do you intend to bring into my wife's territory? Lucy studied Victor's face and swallowed his pride. 50 vampires. Victor considered his plea. That's quite a lot. Are they all your offspring? Yes, they are my slaves. Very well. We accept your request. You can bring the vampires, though I have one stipulation. Victor leaned in to whisper to Kaguya. She received his request and hurried out of the room, returning with a map. Victor unfolded the map and drew a large circle. Keep your minions out of this section. The circle surrounded Violet's mansion and Victor's family home. Agreed. Victor looked to Violet for a final confirmation. She nodded her head in agreement. Lucy took the map. Thank you very much, Lord Victor. I am indebted to your generosity. Victor smiled warmly. Don't worry. Friends are meant to be helped, right? They shook hands. Lucy squeezed Victor's hand with excessive force, but Victor was young and significantly more durable. So that's how you want to play it. Victor tightened his jaw and summoned his vampire strength. His fangs grew from his mouth as his strength magnified, cracking the bones in Lucy's hand. Victor watched Lucy stifle the intense pain. He forced a grin through welling tears.
Until we meet again, Lady Violet.
Violet didn't say anything. She just nodded her head softly as Kaguya escorted the two guests out of the mansion. Once they were gone, Victor returned to the couch, where Violet immediately climbed onto his lap. She gently wrapped her arms around him and leaned her head against his chest.
What are you planning?
Bait. Lucy is my worm that will attract the big fish.
Violet's eyes widened as she flashed a wicked smile.
Aren't you getting used to this vampire thing a little too quickly?
Victor shrugged.
Vampires are no different from humans. Lucy's just an opportunist.
Violet nodded.
I agree. Lucy prepares a feast for powerful vampires. He has strong ties to noble families.
Victor was connecting the dots.
So that's why the Inquisition is here. They're after Lucy?
Yes.
And when you say feast, you mean
humans.
Victor processed the information, still totally not comfortable with the thought of a mass of humans dying to feed vampires. Violet picked up on his discomfort.
Normally, noble vampires don't need human blood.
Huh? Isn't that like the main thing about being a vampire?
Violet shook her head.
You can suck blood from humans if you want, but that won't quench your thirst. The noble species are a very strong type of vampire, and because of that we need more blood than normal vampires. We'd have to kill thousands to satiate ourselves on humans alone, which is unsustainable.
Victor cocked his head to the side.
So what do you do?
Violet explained.
When we get married, we ask the witches to do a ritual so that we will quench our thirst with our partners instead. But there are vampires who get bored drinking their partner's blood all the time. Because of that, vampires like Lucy exist. They kidnap humans and take them to the noble vampires who want to taste new flavors.
Victor was intrigued.
I see. I had no idea witches were real.
Of course they are. Witches are human women who, for some reason, acquire powerful magic. They use that magic to alter things related to nature. Do you remember the magic circle you saw in my memories?
I do.
That was a creation of witches at the request of the ancient vampires. The witches that serve us are mercenaries. If you pay the right price, they'll do anything for you.
Interesting.
Violet nuzzled into Victor as he stroked her long white hair and processed all the new information.
Every feature about her is stunning, but the one I find myself the most fixated on is her beautiful hair.
He glanced down at Violet to see that she was a flushed mess. Her breathing was ragged. She stared back at him with hungry eyes. He smiled.
It really doesn't take much to get her going.
Victor looked out the window to see the first rays of dawn.
Shit, I have to get to class.
Violet was surprised. Class? You want to go back? But what's the point of studying now? You're my husband. I can provide all that you desire.
Victor shook his head.
I don't want to be a parasite that depends on my wife. I want a partner, not a sugar mama.
Violet sighed.
Why college then?
Well, I was going so I could get a job to help my family. Things have been a bit rough financially for us. I thought getting a degree in economics was the best chance I had at getting a good job and bringing in some much-needed money.
He considered his new vampiric form.
Though, I guess my new circumstances have opened up some other money-making opportunities. But still, a college degree is important to me, and I'm not willing to abandon my friends and family.
Violet sat up and shot him a look of confusion.
So, you want to go to college even though you don't need to?
That's right. You see, because of my illness, I couldn't enjoy much of my life before, but that's not an obstacle anymore. So now I plan to live my life to the fullest.
Violet pouted.
But you'll live here, right?
Victor shook his head.
No, I want to live at home. I can't leave my mom alone. She'll be too lost and lonely without me.
She lowered her eyes, wounded. Victor clocked her pain. What is it? Her eyes welled with tears.
What about me, Victor? I'm your wife. What about us?
Victor stammered as Violet's tears turned to rage.
Answer me, Victor!
He swallowed and met her icy stare.
Well, Violet,